Brian Cole, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the February 25th, 2019 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently have the honor of serving as chair of the commission and represent District 3, alongside Commissioner Bill Rippon, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. First item of business, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There were 3 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments?
I'd move for their approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Under sales tax and general expenses, Security Bank of Kansas City, EFT totaling $1,109,454.97 is the COP interest from the general expense and the PBC interest from sales tax. Under special assessment and sewer district, City of Topeka totaling $104,244.73 is for fourth quarter operations and maintenance for Sherwood and sewer districts 2, 6, and 65. Under sewer districts, Kansas Department of Health and Environment totaling $21,035.67 is for loan payment for Sherwood Collection System Additional Improvement Project. Under solid waste recycling, Armor Equipment totaling $89,181 is for a container delivery truck. Total vouchers as of 2/22 of 2019 is $2,349,694.17. And I would move that we approve the vouchers.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move to approve the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Parks and Recreation number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-102-2019 with the Capital City Christian Chamber of Commerce, setting out the conditions of the 2019 Topeka Family Fun Fest activities that include Garfield Park with expenses offset by a special event fee of $500 and a donation of $1,160 to the Parks for All Foundation.
Good morning, Commissioners, on this Purple Monday. Just got before you today. Thought I'd throw that in a little bit, but we do have a special event coming up in April. It's the Topeka Family Fun Fest, and I have Lee Hartman here. He's the work with the Capital City Christian Chamber of Commerce. I kind of tell you a little bit about the event and around Easter.
Thank you for the time. I just wanted to thank you all for approving this. This will be our 6th year, so we're getting better every year, we feel like. And we have also made arrangements for the weather to be a lot better than it is the last few days. So we're expecting a lot of sunshine and no snow. But we do have at this event a parade on North Kansas Avenue. And then the main event happens at Garfield Park, of course, with a huge Easter egg hunt put on by First Southern Baptist Church. And we'll have over 70 vendors of all different types. So it's an event for the whole community, and we look forward to everybody coming and having fun with all the, we have a health fair going on, the vendor market, and food trucks, and anything you could want. So we appreciate you helping us out with this, and we look forward to seeing everybody there. Thank
Excellent. You. Excellent. Comments or questions?
Great event. I'll move for approval.
Second.
Well, I'll notice that it's not only Purple Monday, but it's also Carolina Blue. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider approval of 2 project budgets totaling $140,492, utilizing 2015 COP funds as follows. A, Dornwood Park, replacing 5 scoreboards with 5 wireless scoreboards at a cost of $36,719.50. And B, Midwest Health Aquatic Facility, purchase of 11 cabanas and furniture to be used for rental, concrete erosion prevention, metal doors, and purchase of interactive playground equipment at a cost of $103,772.50.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby. These 2 projects are both funded from the 2015 COP funds that we had, that we didn't use the entire fund back when we did the renovations at Dornwood and Midwest Health. The scoreboards are basically the Daktronic scoreboards that are exactly the same as our ones we have at our quad fields and the girls complex. We're trying to stay consistent to share parts, and we also use those same scoreboards at our softball facilities. As far as the cabanas, I've got a couple photos here of, this is very similar to what we're talking about. They'd be 13 by 13 square, and we would try to put 3 to 4 of them together in different locations. Here's another kind of a close-up. I do have Dave Aliker here that's in charge of the project, if you have any questions for him.
Come on up, Dave. We don't get to hear from you enough.
Good morning, Commissioner. Too much for me.
Exactly.
Can you give us an overview, particularly of the metal doors and the interactive playground equipment that we're talking about, too?
When the facility was designed, they put a bulk acid tank in the facility, and which caused an acid residue. Basically, vapors escape these tanks. We're in the process of revamping the way it should have been done. We've had a great success with other facilities we've done this with, and it just basically ate the door up for the most part. We will go back to aluminum doors to keep the continuous with what's already there. Also on the erosion, some of the greenery that they put in, it's on a slope. Well, water and slope, it kind of drains right into our chemical room and our pump house, so we're kind of eliminating that process as well. The drainage that they did have there is kind of filling up with mulch and rock, so we will take care of that as well. The interactive music, we've been to a few parks that is basically musical equipment that's made for outdoors, and the kids just have fun and they beat on it and create their own type tune.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions or comments for David or for Randy?
I'll make a motion, but I would also note that these funds are only able to be used for these 2 different components, as they were part of the 2015 series, and so we're not able to utilize these funds for other parks or other amenities because they're part of that series.
No.
So I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Commissioner Cook. Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, and that was seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right. Next item, please.
Item C, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-103-2019 with the American Red Cross to obtain institutional pricing for training materials required to maintain CPR, first aid, and AED certification for all department employees at a cost of $30 per employee with funding from the training budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. This is just a renewal of a contract we have with the American Red Cross that allows us to train all of our staff at the Department of Corrections that is compliance with our accreditation and safety and security policies, procedures. This will allow us to maintain and train all of our staff to maintain all of the AEDs that we have on both the adult, the juvenile, and the annex facilities. facilities. Again, this is something that we do budget for, and that this is a life safety concern that we have to meet with accreditation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
I'll move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider approval of request to waive formal bidding procedures to purchase a 2019 transit cargo van and an inmate transport insert package under state contract for a total cost of $52,168 from the Capital Outlay Fund.
Good morning again, Commissioners. Brian Cole, Shawnee County Department of Corrections. Back in 2018, the Board of Commissioners approved the Department of Corrections approximately $88,000 to go out and look towards the purchase and design of a transport van, which would include the insert for security to properly secure the inmates when in transport. We did a lot of research or due diligence. We even had a group come in on site, show us their van and stuff. We liked it. It was a model that one of the companies that we did look at with this system here, but they did come on site. We liked it. We're in the process of negotiating a price with them, and they sold it out from under us to another facility or agency on the way here. That kind of fell through, and that kind of got towards the end of the year, and I met with staff and said, look, we're not going to hold on to these funds. If we're not going to move forward, then we give them back. This is something we do need. I met with Betty Greiner regarding this situation, and we had, during another conference that Major Kendall went to, another company approached us. They came and did an on-site deal, preview of their vehicle and their inserts, which was much more secure, much more, I would say, corrections durable for us. We liked what they had. We worked with them on some pricing before we were going to come here, and then I reached out to Betty and I said I would like to see what your thoughts are about waiving the procedure or the bidding to go ahead and go with this company. We did research the two leading companies that have these types of vehicles and inserts. The company we want to go to is the one that we felt was more responsible. It's about $10,000 cheaper than the other vehicle and insert, where the other company had things that were screwed in. These are welded, much more durable. We drove it. We had staff look at it, had some other experts look at it, and this much more meets our needs at the Department of Corrections. The reason I'm asking to waive, and I went to Betty to talk about it a little bit, is I'd like to be able to, instead of going through another 2 weeks, we're going to have to still order this vehicle, which could take us a couple months to order and get everything in. I would just basically, and to be honest, it is cheaper. We did a really good due diligence, but this meets our needs, and I'd like to be able to get this done. So it is in the capital outlay. Yes, ma'am.
The item that is under state contract, you would not be waiving the purchase policy for that portion, because that is part of our purchasing policy. You can use a state contract rather than go out for bid.
Yeah, the vehicle would be under state contract, yes. And which we would go through, I believe it was Shawnee Ford, which was the cheapest as well.
Okay, very good. Are there questions or comments for Mr. Cole this morning?
I move that we approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Next item, please.
Item D, Sheriff, number 1, acknowledge receipt of correspondence from Sheriff Jones indicating the purchase of equipment for Motorola for generators for the Tower of America and Valencia Road radio towers for alarm monitoring notification in an amount of $10,690 with funding from the 911 Maintenance and Repairs Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Melanie Berger, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office, Director of Communications. In 2017 and 2018, we purchased new backup generators for the Tower of America location and Valencia Tower locations. We need to add those generators onto our alarm monitoring suite. So this purchase would put us in compliance with our preventative maintenance contracts with Clifford, as well as our maintenance contracts with Motorola. Any questions?
Questions for Melanie this morning?
Move to acknowledge receipt.
Second.
Motion made to acknowledge receipt of the correspondence by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item E, Public Works. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-104-2019 with Finney and Turnip Seed Transportation and Civil Engineering LLC. Amendment number 8 to contract C-372-2005 for the 2020 biennial bridge inventory and appraisal for rural, secondary, and off-system bridges for a lump sum of $56,750 and ongoing inspection and appraisal services not to exceed $10,000 with funding from the Public Works Special Bridge Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kurt Niehaus, Director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Here is our 2018 bridge inspection report covering 255 county bridges. It's time to start thinking about the 2020 report. So we would like to, I'm here to request your approval to bring on Finney and Turnip Seed to do that inspection work, which will begin late this year. And that work will be a lump sum of $56,750. And then the ongoing part of that is $10,000. It's not to exceed. That covers like emerging issues, emergency repair type things. Just to let you know, this 2-year inspection is required by the feds and state, and we want to maintain our compliance with those requirements. And we have no bridges with the Carlson Road Bridge being replaced here a couple years ago. We have no bridges that are scour or fracture critical, so we have no bridges on a 1-year inspection cycle. With that, I'm willing to take your questions.
Questions for Mr. Niehaus?
I would move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Rippon, and that was seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kurt. Next item, please.
Item F, Health Department. Number 1, consider approval of out-of-state travel for one Shawnee County Health Department registered nurse to attend the dietetic assessment of neuralistic caregiver child experiences. Oh, it's dance. That's what it means. I forget all the rest of it. This is a dance. Training June 4th to the 6th, 2019 in Denver, Colorado at a total cost of $2,575 with training paid by the Early Childhood Block Grant and travel, hotel, and meals paid by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment Medicaid match grant with no cost to Shawnee County.
Good morning, Commissioners. Teresa Fisher with the Health Department. Before you today is a request to be able to send one of our registered nurses in the Nurse Family Partnership Program for out-of-state travel to Denver, Colorado, June 4th through the 6th for the dance training. As she mentioned, dance stands for the Dietetic Assessment of Naturalistic Caregiver Child Experiences. That's a mouthful. Basically, it looks at the child and parent interaction during the course of the home visits through our Nurse Family Partnership Program. It is a required tool that's used in NFP, and the training is not currently offered here in Kansas. What the nurses do with that tool is, after using it, then they look to target some more specific activities based on what they see between the child and the caregiver. Some selected long-term outcomes of Nurse Family Partnership that I feel are related to this include a 48% reduction in child abuse and neglect, a 59% reduction in child arrest at age 15, and a 67% reduction in behavioral and intellectual problems at age 6. So it's an important component. As mentioned, the training itself is paid for by the Early Childhood Block Grant, and then the travel and all other associated costs would be covered by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment Medicaid match grant we receive. I would be happy to answer any questions.
Questions this morning?
Move for approval.
I'll second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you so much. Next item, please.
Item G, County Councilor. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2019-14, appointing Kurt Niehaus to the Shawnee County Solid Waste Management Committee and direct that committee to study the feasibility of the privatization of the Shawnee County Solid Waste Department.
Good morning, Commissioners. Excuse me, Jim Krause, Shawnee County Councilor. I want to talk for a little bit longer than normal on this one as we introduce this item and talk about what we're considering here today through this resolution. First of all, the resolution itself, it does a couple of different things.
We knew that we had a vacancy on the Solid Waste Management Committee. That committee convenes from time to time, and we're due to start studying our solid waste management plan for the next 5-year period, starting from 2020 to 2025. So we knew last week we had one vacancy on that committee. After we submitted the proposed resolution, we found out that there's a second vacancy on the committee. I spoke with the chair about that second vacancy, and he agreed to nominate himself to serve on the committee. So I've submitted a substitute resolution from the one that's in the packet that fills 2 vacancies on the committee. One would be filled by Kurt Niehaus, and the other would be filled by Commissioner Archer to serve on the Solid Waste Management Committee. So that's the housekeeping part of the resolution. The second part directs the Solid Waste Management Committee to study the feasibility of the privatization of the solid waste department. That doesn't mean that it's necessarily looking to change the services that are provided currently to Shawnee County public, but just to study the feasibility of and potential for providing those services in a different way than we currently do now. And this process of review isn't really anything new for Shawnee County, and in fact, the county commissioners are obligated from time to time to review on an ongoing basis the services that the county does provide through all of its departments, and to try to find efficiencies to try to improve services to provide to the public. Some recent examples of that, the Grace Med partnership with regard to the health agency has been a successful change from the way that we had done business in the past. Even with operations that we have, county operations that are managed outside, we've recently changed our contract with AMR to save us a substantial amount of money. Same thing with the Expo Center management. We switched from a manager that we had for almost 20 years to a new manager, and have enjoyed substantial savings. So those are recent examples of an ongoing process of review that the county has undertaken from time to time, and some successful changes that have come about from that. My office was asked initially to take a look at some of the other larger counties and how solid waste disposal services are provided in those counties. What we found were that in, for example, Sedgwick and Wyandotte County, those basically use private haulers exclusively to provide these services. Johnson County and Douglas use a mix of private, and then they have city refuse departments. Olathe has a refuse department in Johnson County, and City of Lawrence has a refuse department in Douglas County, but they use a combination of public and private. So there are different modes out there and different models that are being used by other counties, and we'll study that further if you approve the resolution and we continue to study the feasibility. I will say that obviously no final decisions have been made at this point. The goal is to determine feasibility, and the committee will announce its findings in a public meeting moving forward, and allow continual public input on this issue. That input is very important, and the county will do its best in the upcoming weeks to keep county employees in that department who might be affected by any changes updated as quickly as possible as to any findings and plans by the county commission. And with that, I'll be happy to try to answer any additional questions you might have.
Are there questions for the county counselor on this issue at this point?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. At this point, I would ask anyone from the public that wants to discuss this issue to please come forward and identify yourself and give your comments. Go.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Jennifer Schmidt. I represent the Shawnee County Solid Waste gentlemen and ladies. We wanted to kind of give our side of wanting to know what's going on, wanting to know who all's on the committee, and just say that our gentlemen have worked for you guys for many years, and the privatization of that company would be a big setback to the community. And we just want to know, what we can do to, bring that decision a little bit better to keep Shawnee County Solid Waste here instead of privatization, excuse me, in that aspect. So.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Any questions, by the way, from Jennifer? Anyone else for discussion this morning? I made some points, and if you would take one and give one to the clerk. One thing I would like to point out is that nothing will happen this year. It will be 2020 before any action is taken, if any action is taken. But I did want to point out some discussion points as far as the privatization of solid waste. First of all, Shawnee County is the only large county that has not privatized trash hauling. Second, solid waste operations is not a core function of government. It actually takes time and resources away from managing and improving the core functions of Shawnee County. Solid waste is competing with private companies that hire employees and pay taxes. Next, the department is difficult to manage. The solid waste department is challenging to manage, and for the second time in less than a year, we are forced with finding a new manager for the department. The Public Works Director needs to focus on road and bridge. Recent weather events, the huge 29th Street project, and other infrastructure projects demand his full attention. Without privatization, Shawnee County would need to add staff, including a department leader, which could cost as much as $120,000 to $150,000, including benefits. Privatization would free up support time from IT, legal, finance, HR, public works, and money that could be dedicated to our core functions. Another point, the waste management agreement for recyclables ends in 2022, and that's something we have to seriously consider. The union contract ends on 12/31/2019, and frankly, the resolution of that contract for future years is a challenge. Privatization would free up office space that is desperately needed by Shawnee County. The courts and the district attorney in particular need more space in the courthouse. Privatization would eliminate the liability for large workers' compensation claims that are self-insured by Shawnee County. And finally, privatization could potentially free up millions of dollars for the general fund. Those dollars are needed in parks and recreation and deferred maintenance to improve the quality of life in our community and link to the Momentum 2022 initiative. Those are my thoughts on privatization, and I look forward to investigating the matter fully. Other commissioners' thoughts? Yes, Commissioner Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. At today's date, I'm not going to vote against the study. I think that it is prudent for us as a county from time to time to take the initiative to study how we do our business. We have done that repeatedly throughout our term, looking at everything from the health department, as mentioned, AMR, how we do our business. So I think it is prudent for us as a commission to make an examination and not just to do things because that's the way it's always been done. With that being said, I would be very critical today to vote for privatization of solid waste. I don't know that the business case has been made completely at this point because the study has not even begun. But some notes. The Solid Waste Fund pays indirect costs to the general fund for administrative services of $424,204. And that amount is determined by a study that was done by Maximus several years ago. And that is needed to be updated. Additionally, Solid Waste Fund pays for 2/3 of the salary of the Public Works Director. And with benefits, this totals $94,500 that the county would then need to pay if there is no solid waste department. Solid waste has a large workers' compensation claims and averages $239,883 annually, and they have been paying extra into the workers' comp fund to cover their higher claims. So that would need to be made up by the county if we do not have it. The solid waste has the building for the household hazardous waste. We pay utilities for that. Without the solid waste department, we would still need a household hazardous waste that is required. That would then be a cost borne by the county taxpayers. Additionally, the solid waste department pays for a portion of the cartograph system. Cartograph is used by Public Works, Parks and Recreation, and other departments. That's approximately $23,000 that solid waste pays into cartograph each year that the county would then need to pay. And additionally, the solid waste department helps pay for a copier that's used within the department. And those are just some of the initial costs that I think we need to look at. While it's prudent for us to do a review, we need to consider what the cost may be if we privatize solid waste to make that up. Finally, solid waste department is an alternative to those that could not afford other private trash haulers. By statute, each person in Shawnee County is required to have a trash service. That's required by statute. And there's a vast majority of the citizens that rely on Shawnee County solid waste as their alternative. And if it was to go away, it would drastically impact the day-to-day budget of people that may not be able to otherwise afford those services. And so I would just ask the commission to keep that into context as it does its study. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Commissioner Rippon?
Well, there's certainly some pros and cons to this issue, but as mentioned earlier, we do need to review this on occasions and make a decision. But I feel like it's once again it's time to review this, and we'll do that at this point. So
very good.
Let's take a look at it.
All right. Then I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution.
I'll second.
Motion made to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye, opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Item H, Commission, number 1, reflect the appointment of Joe Hoytel to the Community Action Board as Commissioner Rippon's appointee.
Yes, well, Joe Hoytel has been on that board for almost 20 years, and I would like to see him reappointed on there. He currently works with Capital Fed. He's Vice President of Commercial Lending, and has been a mainstay in this community for a long time, and I think he'd be a good asset to the Community Action Partnership. They do a lot of good services for citizens of Topeka, from children all the way up to seniors. And so I would just recommend that he be reappointed, or reflect as my appointment to the board.
I'll second that. Motion made to reflect the appointment of Joe Hoytel by Commissioner Rippon, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item H2, reflect appointment of T.J. Brown to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board as Commissioner Cook's appointee.
Commissioners, L.J. Pauley has served as my appointee to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board for a number of years, and he is needing to step down from that position and asked to not be reappointed as my member of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and I'd like to take a moment and just really thank LJ for all of his work. He served as the chair of the Parks and Rec Advisory Board. He's added a great insight to the Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and just really thank him for his time and service to the board. With that being said, when he contacted me about needing to step down, I asked him to help me find the replacement, and it is upon his recommendation, and I approve appointing T.J. Brown. T.J. has served as the City Council representative. He's currently the Oakland Community NIA president, and I think that he adds great insight and ability, and I would ask that he be appointed.
Very good.
Second.
Motion made to reflect the appointment of T.J. Brown by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for department heads or any member of the public to address the commission on items that they're interested in.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dusty Nichols, Emergency Management. Just wanted to put a reminder that on March 4th, we have our severe storm spotters course at the Bradbury, excuse me, I just want to make sure I get it right. Washburn University Bradbury Thompson Alumni Center this year. We have 2 sessions. One's at 3:30 and the other one's at 7. Second note, we spent the last year working with USD 437, developing a full-scale exercise that we will have in next month, and I'll be talking to the parents and the district tonight at 4:37, just as a heads up. Thank you.
Thank you, Dusty. Anyone else?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is John Fisher. I live at 3517 Southwest Wanamaker Court. I retired recently, and I wanted to learn about the function of government. I took a template of my ballot from Representative Watkins, Senator Moran, and Pat Roberts down to the judges. According to my ballot, Commissioner Archer is the one I vote for. So I wanted to take a template of all of the people I vote for to get to know people on a first name or in a position basis. I went ahead and like to take care of 2 items at the same time. I went ahead and went to the appraiser's office and met a young lady named Tanya Biswell. I want to commend the commission for having a person such as her who is knowledgeable, available, expert, and available to help me with questions. I went ahead and called Steve Bauman to commend him. In the same way, I would like to commend Commissioner Archer for being my commissioner, and Commissioner Rippon and Cook for allowing me to go ahead and say thank you for having good employees. I like to go ahead and not kill 2 birds with one stone. I like to address 2 birds at one stone, a compliment and meeting a person, so I'm not just say, get rid of him, I don't know him. So I met with Commissioner Archer before. I appreciate he taking time to discuss meeting one another, and thank you for this opportunity to commend the opportunity to get involved in government, because in the classroom of schools, you don't learn about how to become on a jury. You don't learn how to go ahead and work with government. Sometimes it's slow, but sometimes we have to work with the establishment and learn how to work. Thank you for giving me a time to commend the commissioners for allowing me to compliment you on the quality of employees that are your coworkers.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. Welcome to the district.
Thank you.
Anyone else for addressing the commission this morning? That was very thoughtful, by the way. I enjoyed meeting John. Anyone else? Commissioner Cook.
This last weekend was the Kansas History Day that was participated by junior high and high school students from across the region, including a number of schools and elementary and high schools. And I just want to thank all the winners. There were participants in all 18 categories, from documentaries to websites to exhibits to presentations. And a lot of hard work went into it, and also award the winner of the Philip Morris Scholarship of $4,000. So it was awarded to a Siemens student. And so just a good experience overall. So thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Commissioner Rippon.
Well, I was able to attend Equifest at the Expo Center. It was a great event, very well attended. I always say it's always good when you have bad weather for these events, and people come out of the woodwork rather than work in their yards. So I credit the great attendance to bad weather there, but it was a great event, and I was impressed with the amount of participation, not only from vendors but just from the general public showing up. There were just thousands of people in there, and it was just a great event. So.
Very good. Thank you. I just have one comment on our hometown newspaper. Not only did they not cover the North Carolina game in the sports section, but on the editorial page, which seems to be deteriorating on a daily basis, there was a letter to the editor that was disguised as an editorial, and it talked about wind turbines, and it mentioned county commissioners over and over again. And I spoke to this commissioner, and I wondered who on the commission has talked to this person, because I'd never heard of it. And then if you went to the very end, this person was a resident of Reno County. And you really had to search to find that out. I don't know why we're having, as editorials, people from Reno County. I don't know what that has to do with enhancing the quality of life in Shawnee County. So I was very disappointed to continue to be in our hometown newspaper. That's all I had. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There is a need for an executive session. And I will make a motion to go into executive session for a period not to exceed 30 minutes. Number 1, to discuss personnel matters of non-elected personnel, specifically funding of the FOP contract for 10 minutes. Number 2, for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship specifically related to the 911 fund for 10 minutes. And then finally, for consultation with an attorney for the public body or agency which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship specifically related to the planning department. And that would be for another 10 minutes. So motion to go into executive session to discuss those items for a total of 30 minutes.
Second.
Motion made to go into executive session by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Rippon. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carries 3-0. We're in executive session. Thank you for attending today.
just wanted to stay. They all just wanted to stay. Kind of spooky to come out and find that the crowd grew while you were in the meeting with it. Now what's going on? Is it time to ask for raises? Maybe they're all here for that purpose. Never know.
They can show their appreciation.
That too. Okay, Commissioner Archer, do you want to go back into session?
We are back in session. No action was taken, and we're officially adjourned. Thank you for coming. We're going to have CIP meeting shortly. All right.